I know your favourite novel, because you always give the same answer.
I know, it's a bit of a cliche, but I just love Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, because to me it ticks every single box for the perfect women's fiction. This wonderful, passionate love affair, not consummated, but very passionate love affair between Jane and Mr. Rochester, his complicated past, his mad wife in the attic, her decision that she has to run away, she has to leave him when she discovers that he's still married, and the way, in the end, she fights her way through to making a living, being a teacher, and finds him again by sort of slightly supernatural means. She hears his voice calling her, Jane, Jane, and she finds him, and he went blind in the fire that destroyed the house. It's just incredibly satisfying and wonderful book to read, and surprisingly sexual, actually, considering that nothing sexual ever happens. But I mean, the kind of the kind of passion that's behind it. You can sense what Charlotte Bronte was feeling like, and then that fantastic last line, "Reader, I married him," which is the perfect end to any book.
And you have a theory, don't you? You think that she based Rochester on a man that she lost her heart to in Paris when she was working in Paris, her employer.
She was working as a governess in Paris, and yes, she apparently fell in love with her employer.
The master.
Yeah, and he wasn't. Nothing happened.
No.
You know.
But she carried a torch for him.
She carried a torch for him, and
Yeah.
I often wonder whether I'd love to see a picture of him actually, because I often wonder if he looks like my idea of Mr. Rochester. She based him on that.
For me, much more up to date. Although obviously I love, as anybody does, the writing of the Brontes. They were such amazing writers. But I would say, if I'm just going to pick one out, a desert island book, as it were, it would be, for me, the standout novel of the last 100 years, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, which is an incredible construct. It's an amazing story. Absolutely beautifully written. There isn't a bad sentence or a bad paragraph in it. It's fearsomely intelligent, and it takes you on a total fantasy adventure, which, when you stand back from it, you think this is completely improbable. It's about magic. It's about old-fashioned magic, real magic. But her writing is so powerful and funny that you're so easily able to suspend your disbelief, you know, and enter this world of magic of hundreds of years ago. It's an incredible piece of work. I'd recommend it to anybody, and everyone I've ever recommended it to who's read it has gone out of their way to say thank you. That was an amazing book, which you can read again and again. You can go back to it. It's so dense. It's a very big book. I'm told that
Even the footnotes are funny.
Even the footnotes are funny, and sometimes the footnotes are longer than what's actually on the page. But don't be put off by that. It's incredible. I'm told that she's writing her second sort of, you know, Magnus. She has written some short stories, hasn't she?
She's written a few spin-offs, yes,
Yeah.
but they are short.
They're short.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait for her next big one. But she takes her time, you know, I mean, it's been well over 10 years. But yeah, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, Susanna Clarke, genius.